So here's what you can do to get your Logic projects really small. Like right now, it's this project folder is 700 megabytes large, and it's really just a bunch of audio files, one project file, no freeze files. And the first thing you want to do is go here and just compress it. This is a good way to like have a read-only copy of it somewhere, because what we're going to do is actually going to modify and kind of destroy those audio files. And yeah, if anything messes up, if Logic messes up, which is it sometimes does, or if you mess up, then you want to have a way to go back. So just make an extra copy here, and it's smaller. It's 200 instead of 700, so that's good. But we can do much better even. Okay, so we can go back to our project here. And I like to just zoom in on the tracks here so I can see what I'm doing and see if there's anything I'm missing. I like to actually go in here and name region cells by track name so I can see what's going on. Let's do Command A. Name regions by track name. There we go, much better. So if you do stems from this, the people are gonna love you because now they have meaningful names. Next thing is you want to have for each file, like it doesn't work with Command A for some reason, but you can go ahead and remove silence from audio region. That's Control X. And yeah, this is, I think, a drum track. This looks like garbage. So you have to play around with those guys a little bit and threshold. It looks like it might cut off the attack here, so I'm just gonna add some pre-attack time over here and maybe some post-release time. 0.1 accepted silence looks good. Search zero crossing is important, and it's gonna remember those settings for the next track, so just be sure the first one looks good. Okay, so now trimmed off this stuff here, and it left a little tail on the right, so you're just gonna check that it didn't cut off any of the reverb tail. Okay, so I hear silence, this goes down, we're good. And now we just do this on every track, so it's Control X. Now this does not look how we want it, so we just up the ante on this guy, and this looks good. Boom. Now in this case we have some silence here, which we could remove like this, if we want to. But yeah, make sure it doesn't cut off any tail. So here it's not silence really, but yeah, this is gonna do fine. And we do this for every track kind of. So I'm just gonna go real quick here. So it remembered all the settings, so we can just apply. So just Control X and OK. And if we wanted, we could still extend these here if there's like some breathing in noise we want to keep. And next up, we can go in here in the little browser, go on Project, and select Unused. And typically, especially on the bottom here, there's like one track that's not used in the project at all, which you're going to see a lot. But it selected all the tracks and regions that are not used. So for example, here for the crash, track number 3 here, there's one little crash hit here, one little crash hit here. So we only use this part here and this part, and we're not using the whole thing. So if you go select unused, it's selecting all the stuff that's not even in this arrange window anymore. And if you hit backspace, now it removed them. So the files are still there, but the regions are gone. And we can actually trim the files now. So this is now where the destructive part starts. We can select all of them. And now we go to audio file and optimize files. So optimizing files just actually trims away the stuff we're not using in the actual WAV files. So you can tell it here how much it's going to keep left and right. So yeah, 100 milliseconds should be fine. Boom. And now you see it's updating everything, and we don't have this big region anymore. And now we can't do this rename anymore because now it just put this crash from here over here. So now this region is a bit weird. So we actually modified the original files. So now the WAV files are shorter. And you can see it if you collapse everything. See, some files are like super short now and some are still kind of long. But we can compress those down if we go here on copy convert files. And we select, instead of WAV or CAF, like these are all waveforms, so these are pretty much the same files, except that CAF is pretty much infinite. So if you're recording a whole concert, if you hit the 4 GB limit, it's gonna just stop recording, which is super annoying. And if you go recording with CAF, it doesn't do that. So if you go with Apple Lossless, all these things are grayed out because it doesn't lose anything. So it's still your original audio in high fidelity. Don't believe this guy, it's lying. I like to have a little folder here, lossless, save. And on newer Macs, this is pretty much instant. And the thing that takes a while is just the preview thingy. So now you want to make sure that your project still sounds as it should. Like, play the whole thing, please. And then you select Save As. Let's call this guy Lossless Project. So just make a new folder. And Lossless. It's a good practice to have like a extra folder on top of your Logic folder so you don't accidentally delete the wrong folder. So yeah, I'm just gonna save it as a lossless project. So this is done. And now if you look, here's our demo project. So the lossless project is 150 compared to our originals. So we have the old one here. Now it still has the lossless folder. We have a backup copy over here, and now we have our lossless version and our zip file. Keep the zip file around for now. Close Logic, like really quit, and just to make sure there's no weird cache stuff going on. And then I like to copy protect this thing, write protect it by just locking it here. So I don't accidentally overwrite it or do an edit and hit Command Save because I'm used to it. And then do some nasty edit. So if you open this guy, the lossless one, it takes a little longer to open. It's a little harder on CPU because it's decompressing those lossless files on the fly. But when you play it, your hard drive I/O is going to be way lower. And yeah, it's just going to be way, way smaller. Now, there's a few caveats. If you have any audio plugin on here that is not a stock audio plugin, I recommend to bounce the track in place. I think this is Control B, is it? Yeah, Control B. So drums bounce in place on a new track, if possible. And you don't want to bypass the effects plugin. You want to include the tail. Yeah, don't include the automation, but you want to include the audio tail. Just in case you open this up 20 years later and you don't have addictive drums anymore or your wave plugins or whatever. So if there's any third-party stuff going on, please bounce the stuff in place and convert it as a lossless file as well. So now it made a CAF file. So I just want to go ahead and, where is it? Copy convert files. Oh, there it is. So you have to select the CAF file, not just the region. And yeah, if you do this, then you can do it as a lossless again. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So always make sure to listen to your project, make sure everything's working, because for example, if you do this, you can see this, the crash over here is actually this one here. So it messes up your original WAV files, and there's no way back except having a full backup copy of the whole folder. But yeah, this is super useful if you want to share your project on Dropbox or whatever, or just keep them archived somewhere. And yeah, enjoy.